And now to some baseball action right here in Sioux City as Morningside hosted Hastings in a doubleheader this afternoon. Now this first game was a defensive battle as we are in extra innings. Matt Lucero, he's going to hit this one straight to the Mustangs fielder Brian Garcia, who gets the final out, sending us to the bottom of the inning. Mustangs at the plate now, and Luke Frolick, he lines this one right into the gap, allowing him to get on base, giving Morningside some momentum in this game. But nothing would come of it, and now the Broncos are threatening as they have a runner on, and a beautiful throw. He doesn't beat it. That's out. And now Morningside, they have the bases juiced, and it's Frolick up at the plate. Hits that one directly into the dirt. Here comes Eddie Bricado. He beats the throw. That's a 1-0 walk-off win in Game 1 of the doubleheader. That ends in 11 innings.